Salwete everyone! In this video I'm going to recap some information about adjectives and adverbs that you may have gathered or you may have missed along the way. So starting off with the basics, we know that adjectives are describing words, but in particular they are words which describe nouns. In Latin they have to agree with the noun they describe, which means that they need to have the same case, number and gender as the noun they describe. This therefore means that an adjective has to be able to go into any case, number and gender, so they've got an awful lot of endings. But the good news, as you can see from here, is that they get their endings from nouns. So the first group of adjectives in Latin are called group 1 adjectives, and they get their endings from declension 1 for feminine nouns and declension 2 for masculine and neuter nouns. Remember, you already know these endings off by heart. If not, you should. Group 2 adjectives get their endings from declension 3. So they have one set of endings for masculine and feminine and one set of endings for the neuter. As I said before, in Latin, adjectives and nouns need to have the same case, number and gender. However, they may belong to a different declension and group. So that means that their ending isn't necessarily going to be the same. Let's look at a couple of examples. So here we have the sentence modestus ignavus est. Modestus is cowardly. Modestus and ignavus are both nominative, masculine and singular, and they're the same ending because modestus is a declension 2 noun and ignavus is a group 1 adjective which gets its ending from declension 2. However, the second example, miles ignavus est, grammatically these endings are the same. Miles and ignavus are both masculine, nominative and singular. However, while ignavus is a group 1 adjective and therefore has declension 2 endings, miles is a third declension noun, so it has slightly different endings. However, grammatically they are the same, they agree and they match. Got that? Let's move on. Adverbs, on the other hand, are words which describe every other word apart from nouns, and they're often used to describe verbs. They are formed from adjectives, as we'll see in a moment, and we really like them because unlike pretty much every other word in Latin, they don't change their endings, which is really nice. So to form an adverb, it's quite easy, and it just depends on which group your adjective that it comes from belongs to. So if it's a group 1 adjective, remember those are the ones that end in US, A and UM, you simply need to remove the ending and add a long E. So if we look at an example, laitus, which means happy, becomes laite, happily. Group 2 does the same thing in that it removes the ending, but instead of an E, you add ter. So for example, brevis means brief, and that becomes breviter or briefly in the adverbial form. So just to summarize, here are the key points of this video. Number 1, adjectives are used to describe nouns and they have to agree with the noun they describe in case, number and gender. They belong to one of two groups according to their endings, which are the same as noun endings. Adverbs are formed from adjectives, and this is quite easily done. Group 1 adjectives have an E on the end when they become adverbs, while group 2 ones have a ter on the end.